Okay, so yesterday I was pale, but yesterday I also went and got my first epidural steroid injection for my lower lumbar spine. So today I'm in a lot less pain than I have been in my previous videos, but instead of being pale, I'm flushed red everywhere. See that? Yeah, that's not makeup, that's just flushed. And I don't have a fever because I checked, because usually if I'm this pink and red, and earlier it was all on my neck and all on my face, and it wasn't a rash or anything, it's just I'm really pink today. We're just gonna go with it. They actually put a tube in my epidural, spinal space, in between two of my vertebrae in the disc space yesterday, and pumped a bunch of steroids and anesthetics and stuff like that in there yesterday. So I'm assuming this is a side effect, but I'm feeling much better than I have in a long time. But I was given strict instructions not to do anything taxing to my body, because once the anesthesia kind of flushes out of there and all we have left in that epidural space, in the disc space, is the steroids, some of my pain is going to come back because we're not done yet. So I'm obeying my doctors. I didn't ride my bike today. I didn't do housework today. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a video. I spent most of the morning on the Facebook group talking to people about linguistic and idiomatic expression differences and varying accents in the United States. It's a very interesting discussion. If you've missed it, go watch. There's this hilarious video from a woman in Tennessee who was talking about her leggings, which in deep southern parlance are leggings. She was talking about legging weather and how you should and should not wear your leggings. I loved it. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun with that. First of all, it's a really funny video, and I'm 2 minutes, babbled for 2 minutes, and I haven't even told you what we're doing the video today about. Kind of like with my Maluna Cup review that took over a year of using alternatives before I got around to telling you about the Maluna Cup, I have been using Yurtcraft pads almost from day one since I started buying pads. The second cloth pad I ever purchased was from Yorkcraft. And I've never done a review of her pad shop, which, again, I have no idea why. I guess I thought I'd already been there, done that, but clearly I have not. So today I'm going to show you the Yurtcraft pads that I still have left, and I'm going to talk to you about her shop and what you can expect, that sort of thing, because I would have to say she is right up there as a very, very close second to Annie Bell's Essentials as my favorite pad maker on Etsy, or just in general. Okay, so let's get into the pads. When I first started buying pads, I was buying the 9-inch length because those were the ones that I had been making for myself. And the first time I ever bought a 10-inch pad, which is the pad length that I now prefer, the reason I bought it was because of this print right here. Let's see if I can get it on this side of the screen. I think this is better. This is a Yurtcraft 10.5-inch heavy/ultra. And I saw this on her shop, and this pad is, gosh, it's got to be over a year old by now. I've had it from almost the beginning. But the reason I tried this one is because she had this print in a really, really long one and this one, and those were the only two she had. So I was like, I have to have that blue and white pad. I must have it. So I purchased this, and that was how I came to find that I prefer a 10-inch, 10.5-inch, 11-inch pad to a 9-inch pad. So it was all a happy accident, but look at this gorgeous pad. This thing has had to have been washed 50 times at least, because this is one of my very favorite pads. For the longest time, my two most cherished pads were my Eeyore Annie Bells and my blue and white Yurtcraft pad. Now, Yurtcraft has quite a few differences that you can see. It's still this gradual flare, but hers is a little bit more pronounced of a flare than the Annie Bells type or the rectangle type. So it is a rounded rectangle, but I would say that this is more of a moderate flare than a gradual flare, because when you snap her pads, and this is what makes Yurtcraft ideal for so many people, her gusset width in the middle is about 1/4 of an inch shorter, or I'm sorry, narrower than other pads that are made in this essential, hourglass type shape. And that's something that is very appealing to a lot of people. I mean, when you measure her pads, they are almost 2.5 inches on the button every time. They will be between 2.25 to 2.5 inches wide on this gusset every time, even after you've washed them over and over and over and over again. I'm going to show you my final second remaining 10.5 inch Yurtcraft pad. I'm gonna have to buy more, I think. Because it was an accident. You know, I had so many Annie Belle's pads and I had so many Yurtcraft pads that I thought I would never run out of them. And then I looked down and realized I only had 5 left. Well, I've only got 2 10.5 inches left, and it's because they are the ones I adore the most. Let me introduce you to my Brussels sprout 10.5 inch from Yorkcraft. Brussels sprouts are my favorite vegetable, and for those of you who don't eat Brussels sprouts, I cannot understand you. I've tried, but I can't. Anyway, so this one here is exactly like the blue and white pad. It's a 10.5 inch heavy/ultra, and I'm just going to show you the basic features on a Yurtcraft pad. Now, unless something has changed since last time I purchased, and I looked at her shop, and I don't believe that it has. She indicates her absorbency. Let me see if I can get this up in the camera for you. Do you see these little stars here? There will be on her pads between 1 and 4 stars. There's the liner and the moderate, and then there's the heavy ultra. If I've made a mistake about that, I will put it in a little text box here to tell you about that. The other defining feature on a Yurtcraft pad is these triangle wings, as opposed to a tab wing, which comes out to like a rectangle on the end. She has these triangle wings where they come to defined points, and where that makes a big difference, and this is just my opinion, I've noticed that triangle wings grip the underwear a little bit tighter than a tab wing does. And I really think that if you really don't want that sucker to move, I think that triangle wings give a little bit of an advantage there. So let's see, what else should I talk about? Absolutely my favorite thing about Yurtcraft pads, and what has created my lasting loyalty to the Yurtcraft universe, is the top stitching. Lisa is the name of the woman who owns and runs Yurtcraft, and when she sews her pads, she uses a solid 1/4 inch top stitching channel. And that is my absolute favorite part, for 2 reasons. One is utilitarian and the other is aesthetic. Number 1, I think that the 1/4 inch top stitching is very pretty. I think it makes the pads look very polished and finished, and I just love the way that the thicker top stitching channel looks. But the functional reason that I'm completely married to a 1/4 inch top stitching channel is because I want you to see what happens. When you're wearing a pad and it conforms to your body, if you have this thick of a top stitching channel, especially after the pads have been washed a few times, they do this. They conform in and they kind of create a cradle of sorts. Number 1, it prevents leaks, and number 2, it keeps the pad from riding up your bum. It's amazing. It does so much for the way that the pad conforms to your body while you're wearing it, because you just get this nice little cupping kind of shape that happens when the pad gets warm, comes up to your body temperature, and it's cradled against you like this. This thicker top stitching channel is very utilitarian, as well as, like I said, I just find it visually pleasing as well. And then, of course, there is a reason that one of the first pad shops that you will hear about when you become a new person making the switch to cloth. One of the reasons that Yorkcraft is the first shop people will tell you about, and it's the one that's on, anywhere you go where you say, what's a good pad shop to start with? Every single person that you ask that question to, they're going to say Yurtcraft, and then maybe they'll list off another favorite. Yurtcraft, Yurtcraft, Yurtcraft. And the reason for that is that Lisa never makes mistakes. If she does, I have never seen one. Her sewing is just, I don't know, she's probably just one of those gifted people with a sewing machine, because either that or she's just got a lifetime of experience, because they are perfect. This pad and this pad, they're almost a year old. The stitching, none of the stitching has come frayed. None of the stitching has popped out. And I'm not careful. You know, I'm not one of those wonderful people who hand washes everything gently and with a gentle soap and then hangs it up to dry in the sun and the soft breeze. I scrub the tarnation out of my pads when they have stains, and then I put them in a agitation washer machine, and then I put them in an electric dryer. So I haven't exactly been, you know, preservative and kind with these. I've been lazy. I've taken lazy care of my pads. It's skipping. I'm going to have to stop. I'll be right back. So not only is the stitching on her pads, let me see if I can get this up close so you can see, on this elderly pad that has been washed over and over and over again, you can see that there's no bunching. It's still thin. Nothing has curled up. Nothing has pilled. Nothing has come undone. And the stitching is still absolutely perfect. It's even stitching, it's perfect stitching, it's beautiful stitching, and it holds up over time. And then the other thing that I probably should mention is that Lisa uses WindPro. All Yurtcraft pads have WindPro fleece, which is a very high quality fleece and very water resistant on the back of her pads. And again, with all this washing, there's no pilling. It's still very soft, it's still very smooth, and all of my Yurtcraft pads, same kind of thing. Now, if you order a 10.5 inch or smaller pad, I think the 9 inch and the 9.5 inch and the 10.5 inch, your gusset will always be exactly 2.5 inches snapped. And when I say exact, I mean exactly, because I got out my little measuring tape, and I measured them snapped. And even a year old, having been abused, the materials still, when you snap them up, they're exactly 2.5 inches. Okay, so overnights. It's time for me to show you my overnights. Let's get into the 12.5 inch length for Yorkcraft. This one is a minky pad, and I want you to see this. You know, I'm actually kind of glad that the ones that I'm showing you in this video are not brand new. I want you to see that after you've had these for a solid year, that they're still going to be beautiful. They're still going to look this great. Let me get closer to the camera here. Sorry for bumping. This is a minky pad, and I've had some reactions to minky in the past. I've never had a reaction to the minky in my Yurtcraft minky pads. This is the only Yurtcraft minky pad I still have left. My daughter has one of them, but this is my only minky pad left. This is a minky pad that I wear, gosh, in the winter months, I wear it all the time, even for daily use, just because it's minky and it's soft and warm. But during my cycles throughout the year, this is one of my favorite overnight pads. It is an ultra heavy, and I'm gonna have to pause because I'm about to sneeze, and I'm not gonna do that on camera. Whew, I finished sneezing, sorry about that. I can't sneeze on camera for a couple of reasons. One, if I sneeze on camera, it's not ladylike. Number two, if I sneeze on camera, it hurts my back, and there may have been some involuntary cursing. Number three, after I sneeze, I always have to blow my nose, and I'm sure as heck not doing that on camera. Okay, let's return to the 12.5 inch heavy ultra Yurtcraft pad. Now, the gusset on the 12.5 inch is exactly 3 inches, which I find just perfect, ultimate, best width ever for my overnight needs. And I don't like long overnight pads. A lot of women prefer really long ones, and she does make them on the Yurtcraft shop. I believe she has a 14.5 inch, and if I'm not mistaken, she does one longer than that too. I'll double check, and if I'm wrong, I'll put it right here. But this is the 12.5 inch, and the gusset on these is 3 inches, which I find for overnight use is just perfect. It fits into my comfy overnight underwear, and you know, when you're cuddled up in pajamas for some reason, it's wonderful. And it also has, like I said, this top stitching that's thick, and it does the same channel even on these fuzzy fabrics. So, love this. And this is what a minky pad that has been used and abused from Yurtcraft for a solid year will look like. And whereas you can tell by looking at it that it's not brand new minky anymore, when you touch it, it's still just as soft. It's still just as wonderful. And an added benefit of minky is there's no stains. Minky, because it's polyester, stain treats extraordinarily easily. And trust me, this one has seen some things. And then here is a cotton top 12.5 inch. This is my cranberry pad. I love it, and I use this for an overnight as well. Same. But again, this pad has seen some things, and it still looks brand new. I mean, this pad looks brand spanking new. And it's at least 7 months old. At least. Working on a year. It's working on an anniversary. I probably need to make it a cake. But, so there you go. Gorgeous. So the 12.5 inch are perfect for overnights in my experience. I don't know what you would have to, I don't know what kind of mishap you would have to leak through one of these. Now, if it was the wrong size for you or whatever, I can see you leaking over the edge of it or around it or what have you, but you're not going to leak through one of these. I just can't see that happening because we've been through some things, this pad and I, and it's never leaked, not one time. She does amazing work. Okay, the final pad that I have to show you is my big one, and I bought this one because, again, the fabric, even though this was a length that I never would have thought to purchase, it's the 14.5 inch length. This fabric print, this geek fabric, see it says geek right there. I'm going to flip this so that we're not on backward camera when I do this review, I think, so that you can read this. But this says geek right here. And this science print was just so great. And she didn't have one on her shop at that time in the 12.5 or the 10.5 inch that I already knew that I enjoyed from her shop. So I bought this pad. And I find that the 14.5 inch is just a little bit too long for me, but I love this pad too much to give it up, so I wear it. I wear it on my overnights. And the same thing. This is the newest one I have from her. So it's not seen as many, it's not been through as many wars as the other ones. But it's great. It's good quality. And this is what the 14.5 inch looks like. And when you snap this one up, we'll just measure it real quick because I'm not absolutely certain, but I want to say this one is a 3 inch gusset as well. Yes, precisely 3 inch gusset on this pad. So the 12.5 and the 14.5 inch lengths definitely have a precisely 3 inch gusset. So I guess that's what I would say about Yurtcraft pads, is that they are consistent, they are exacting, the stitching is perfect, and the quality is nobody's better. There's nobody who makes a better quality product than the Yurtcraft shop. Okay, so between the rest of the video and this, which is just going to be, well, I'm going to attempt to make it a quick conclusion. I always say I'm going to be quick, and then I never end up being quick. But I had to go pick up Lizzie from school, and then we ate dinner, and things happened, and now it's dark, and so I'm finally coming back to finish this out. So the basic things you have to remember about Yorkcraft is that Yorkcraft is one of the definitive shops that most everybody who uses cloth pads and talks about cloth pads in the cloth community online, Yorkcraft is always at the top of the conversation for a reason. Her shop is well established, her pads are consistently wonderful, and all of the pads that I've had from her and have used over and over again for a long period of time are still in like new condition. Except for the Minky, but it still operates in like new condition. On her shop, just some things of note is that when she is open for customs, that is always clearly marked, and I have ordered customs from her in the past, and she seems to process those. A custom order is when you tell her, I would like for you to please make me a pad in this particular fabric print, in this particular length. For example, if she didn't have one already in stock on her shop that was that way. And she is open for custom orders most of the time, and when she's too busy or when she has family obligations and she closes for customs, that is clearly marked, so you'll know just by visiting the shop whether that feature is available or not. And I've seen other things on her shop, because I check her shop just about every week, kind of like I do with Annie Belle's, to make sure I'm not missing anything gorgeous that I just can't live without. And I've seen she has wet bags pretty frequently on Yurtcraft. She has unpaper towels. She did and I wanted them so badly, but I couldn't justify the purchase, but she had some beautiful unpaper towels up there one time. I want to say it was on Yurtcraft that I saw that she had made some reusable, like Swiffer floor cleaning covers that she had done. So occasionally she'll venture out and she'll offer some products that are different than just cloth pads on her shop. So, you want to check regularly to see what other kinds of things she offers. So it's just consistency, fantastic stitching. Her prices are comparable with all of the other high quality pad shops. You know, so if you were to compare her pricing to Annie Bell's, or if you were to compare her pricing to Novel Red or any of those other highly regarded pad shops, you'll find that they're all very comparable. They're all right in line with each other. And for the quality of the materials that she uses, I have never had a complaint about her pricing. Her customer service is very, very good. Her shipping times are quick. You know, there's just nothing to complain about. So basically, if you go and you see one you like, snatch it up, because her inventory moves pretty quickly. Yeah, so 2 thumbs up for Yurtcraft, and it was just way overdue to do a review on that shop. So I hope this was helpful. If I didn't mention anything, let me know. The link to her Etsy shop is going to be down below in the description, and I think she has a Facebook page. I will look it up, and if she does, I will put the link for that down here as well. Okay, thanks very much. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.